Hey folks, Scald Eagle here. I'm a jammer for Denver Roller Derby, and I'm here with the Bont family to tell you a little bit about the hybrid carbon boot that Bont produces. And without further ado, let's get into the review. So one of the key components of many of the Bont boots, and especially this one, is that carbon base. And you can tell it's carbon because the heel cup is exposed, and you can see that detail right there. And it's just so nice to have a boot with such a solid base to transfer your energy. And when I go to do a move, I want to trust that 100% of my zhoosh is getting into that plate and transferring into the trucks and the wheels. So one of the key components that helps marry or work with the carbon base is the uppers and the layers with which the upper part of the boot are constructed. And Bont is certainly within the roller derby community and the roller derby market is, I believe is one of the only producers of roller derby boots that uses monocoque construction. For more information on that, check my other video where I go in depth on what monocoque means. But for the sake of this review, it just means excellent energy transfer and solid construction helps get the energy that I put into the foot through into the base, into the trucks, into the wheels, and then off I go doing whatever move that I hope I'm going to do. One of the key features of the hybrid carbon boot that distinguishes it from the quad racer carbon is the design of the forefoot of the boot. So in the quad racer carbon, which is the speed skating quad boot, the tongue comes all the way up from the front of the boot, whereas in the hybrid carbon, it has a bit more boxy construction, which is great for protecting the toes in the high intensity sport that roller derby is, where you're getting stepped on by teammates, you're stubbing your toes. It's just a far more aggressive and potentially damaging part of the boot just because of the style of the sport. So having this additional toe bumper also is super helpful in, the durability and longevity of the boot. Bont does an excellent job of constructing their boots in such a way where the boot is going to mold to you, not the other way around. When prepping for a tournament or prepping for a season, you want to pop these suckers in the oven and boom, they're going to be molded to your foot, and that whole hot spot break-in period is going to be way less with a Bont boot as compared to other brands, and you're going to be really happy with that glove-like feel that Bont boots provide. One cool thing about the hybrid carbon is that the forefoot is a little boxier. It's going to be a little bit more comfortable for those who have a more boxy, square-shaped forefoot. For those of you like myself that have a pointier, more tapered toe, you might find more comfort in the quad racer carbon. Basically identical boots aside from that forefoot construction. So those are some things to think about in the shape of your foot and which choice you want to make. Problem is the quad racer carbon lacks the level of strong, durable materials in the forefoot. So this is really going to be a great boot for giving you bang for your buck on durability in the hardcore sport of roller derby, where you're getting stepped on and stubbing toes and doing all that jazz. So this is going to be a great choice for durability and longevity. So the hybrid carbon, like many of the other boots on the line, can come in either leather or Durolite. And one, I think, common misconception is that a leather boot is going to have the same structural integrity as a Durolite boot. And one of the things we want people to know is that the actual interior layers of the boot is where a lot of the anti-stretch materials lie within the boot to help give structure to the boot and help prevent blowout, which is, I think, a thing that happens a lot, especially with leather only construction. So leather might be comfortable, but you don't want it to be blowing out over time. Bont boots, they have a layer in there to help prevent that from happening. And then if you want to go even the extra mile, that layer is in there also with the Durolite boots, which the Durolite comes in many different colors and has that elasticity without the ultimate stretch. Like, you don't want You want it to move with your foot, but then come back. And you want it to be able to do that year in, year out. So one of the seemingly given features of this boot is the strap, right? We really want to keep the foot anchored deep into the heel, and our strap is definitely going to help do that. The heel is also fully heat moldable so that you avoid the heel slippage and stay deeply back into the heel, especially when you're doing plow stops or any type of edging. That's going to be a key feature that helps. As you can see, the boot has a quite low profile. It has about a 6 millimeter rise to it. So this is not your art skating boot. This is designed to keep your weight back so that we can do different things like plow stops and hockey stops and different things that are for edge control in roller derby. So I certainly am a key proponent of being as low to the ground as possible to get the best edge work I can. And this boot definitely fills that bill. One of the things that I wanted to do in this review is kind of show a little cross comparison between Bont's quad speed skating boot, the Quad Racer Carbon, and the Hybrid Carbon for roller derby specifically. Technically, you could use either boot for either activity, but the Hybrid Carbon does have a more roller derby specific focus, and the Quad Racer Carbon is more for speed skating detail. As you can see here, it does not have that toe bumper, and actually the last is different when they construct the boot. This one has a much more pliable front, a little bit more flexibility, a lot more flexibility, which is nice for those of us, myself included, that have a more tapered forefoot. So I find that I prefer the Quad Racer Carbon for the ability of cinching that toe area down much tighter than probably the average person prefers. So if you are those with, like I said, that wider, boxier, more square forefoot, this is going to be the way to go, and this is really going to give you the comfort and the performance that you're looking for. In addition to that, having the toe bumper built in gives you that durability. It's going to take, much more abuse than the Quad Racer Carbon. I certainly, despite choosing this one, I certainly wear toe covers on all, 100% of the time to help combat that dynamic of the abuse that you're going to receive in roller derby. But with that, my toes definitely take more of a pounding than they do when they're in this boot. So something to consider when you're making your choices. So one of the things that I wanted to do was just kind of do a little bit of cross comparison between Bont's Quad Racer Carbon, which is their speed quad boot, and the Hybrid Carbon, which has that more roller derby focus. The main huge difference is the difference in the last and the constructed forefoot. So, as you can see here with the Quad Racer Carbon, it's got a much more pliable, flexible front toe area, and the tongue starts a little sooner so that you can really cinch it down. For me, that is what I prefer, mostly because I have a much more narrow, tapering forefoot, which I think makes me the oddball out, not the average person. So if you find that you, like I said, have a more square, boxier forefoot and that you're not as stiletto shaped, the Hybrid Carbon is really going to give you the space that you need to be comfortable. Plus, it's going to have more structure in that front. Like you can see, I can't hardly even bend it in. So it's going to take that beating that roller derby does much more than the Racer Carbon. So something to consider. And there you have it. Thanks for checking out the Hybrid Carbon boot by Bont.